Yesterday, we talked about frequency tables as a way to organize data. And when we looked at frequency tables, we talked about how they have a title that tells you what the data is about. They have categories and they have tally marks to keep track of how many of each category. So we talked about the difference between categorical and numerical data yesterday. And when we're looking at the categories, we can tell whether or not data is categorical or numerical based on what the answer choices are. In this frequency table, the answer choices are numbers: 4 inches, 5 inches, 6 inches. So that would be numerical data. Sometimes our data is words. For example, if you were saying your favorite food, the answer choices would not be numbers, they would be words like pizza, pasta, cheeseburger. That would be categorical data. Today, we're going to look at a different way to organize data, and this is called a bar graph. I'm sure that you have seen bar graphs before. Here's an example of a bar graph. A bar graph is also going to have a title. The title of this bar graph is favorite ice cream flavor. So that tells me exactly what this data is about. A bar graph is also going to have categories, just like a frequency table. In a frequency table, your categories are over here. In a bar graph, they're actually along the bottom. So remember, the categories are like answer choices. So the categories for favorite ice cream flavor on this bar graph are the flavors: vanilla, chocolate, strawberry, cookie dough, cookies and cream. And then you're going to have the number of people. In the frequency table, that was shown as tally marks here. In the bar graph, that's going to be labeled along the left-hand side of the bar graph. Here are the numbers of people. And then to show the data, above each category, they have filled in or shaded in a bar to the height of that number of people. So when I read this bar graph, I can look at vanilla and I can see that the bar for vanilla is shaded in up to the number 3. And that tells me that 3 people chose vanilla as their favorite flavor of ice cream. 4 people chose chocolate. 2 people chose strawberry. 3 people chose cookie dough. And 4 people chose cookies and cream. When I look at the categories or the answer choices along the bottom, I notice that they are words and not numbers. So this bar graph is showing categorical data: vanilla, strawberry, chocolate, cookie dough. Those categories are words and not numbers. Let's look at how to make our own bar graph. In today's assignment, you're going to have to turn a frequency table into a bar graph. So I want to show you how to do that. Here is a frequency table that I made yesterday about number of siblings. And remember, siblings are just brothers and sisters. How many brothers and sisters do you have? And so in this frequency table, I can see the data recorded as tally marks. I want to turn this into a bar graph. So I'm going to demonstrate how to do that. I'm going to call it the same thing because it's about the same thing: number of siblings. And then I need to do some labeling on this bar graph to get started. So first of all, I need to put my categories along the bottom. So my categories were 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and more than 4. So I'm going to create some categories. I'll put 0 here. I'll put the bar for people with only 1 sibling there. 2, just kind of spacing them out along the bottom. 3, 4, and more than 4. And then along the left side, that's the number of people. So I might start with 0 kind of on this baseline. Like if there isn't a bar at all, that would represent 0 people. 1 person, 2. Each line I'm labeling with a number. So at each line, I'm placing a number. 1, 2, 3, 4. This would be 5 people, 6 people, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and the very top, that would represent 12 people. All right, now I have to draw some bars to represent my data. So I'm going to have to look back at my frequency table. Okay, I can see that 3 people had 0 siblings. So I'm going to use orange to represent the number of people who had 0 siblings, 3. So I will draw a bar up to the number 3. And that shows me that 3 people had 0 siblings. All right, I need a bar to represent the number of people with 1 sibling. Oh, that was a lot. 7 people had 1 sibling. So I'm going to draw this bar all the way up to the 7. And this is over the number 1 because this is the number of people who only had 1 sibling. All right. 4 people had 2 siblings, so let's draw a bar for that up to the number 4, which is right here. I could also count up 1, 2, 3, 4 bars. All right. These people all had 2 siblings. All right, let's see how many had 3. Oh, only one person had 3. So that's going to be a tiny bar. And let's see, 3 people had 4 siblings. And it looks like 2 people had more than 4. All right, so here is my bar graph representing number of siblings. This is the exact same data that I showed using a frequency table yesterday, but this time I have it with a bar graph. And we can answer very similar questions about bar graphs as we can with frequency tables. For example, I could ask you a very simple question about this bar graph, like how many people have 2 siblings? And you would want to look at 2 and find the height of that bar. It goes to 4. So you could tell me 4 people have 2 siblings. You could also answer a little bit trickier questions like how many people have less than 2 siblings? In that case, you would only want to look at the bars that are less than 2. 1 sibling is less than 2 siblings and 0 siblings is less than 2. And you would have to combine these bars together. So this is 3 people and that's 7 people. Together, that's 10 people that have less than 2 siblings. Or you could answer a question like, how many people have 2 or more siblings? In that case, I would want to include the people with 2, the people with 3, the people with 4, and the people with more than 4. Let's see if we can put all that together. All right, I have 4 people with 2, plus another one, that makes 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, 10 people have 2 or more siblings. You could also answer a question like this. How many more people have 1 sibling than 0 siblings? How many more? Well, 7 people have 1 sibling and only 3 have 0. So 4 more people have 1 sibling than 0. I can see the bar graph makes it really easy to see the extra 4 people. 1, 2, 3, 4. These are the 4 more people that have 1 than 0. So in this bar graph, when I look at the categories, I see that they are numbers. This is numerical data. The first bar graph that we looked at was categorical data because the answer choices are words. So sometimes you will have categorical data and sometimes you will have numerical data. But when you're looking at a bar graph, remember that the height of the bar tells you how many people in each category. And along the left, you can see exactly how many people that is.